Well, it's another way for us to deal with the issue of energy crisis. And many will say wood firewood be the only way, knowing that the price of gas has seemed to have skyrocketed in recent time. But many will also indicate that Nigeria seems to be losing its huge forest reserve by the day on account of that. But what should the government do to deal with the issue of deforestation and indeed bring us back to a path of regeneration is a big question. A question I'll be asking later, but for now I want to quickly welcome you to another lovely time on Atlantic TV. It's Viewpoint, and as always, my name is Mike Egobadia.
And I am Mercy. Welcome to Viewpoint on Atlantic TV. And you know how we do it right here on Viewpoint. We start with the dailies, we go straight into the dialogue, and the news comes around. And of course, the trending. Thank God it's Friday. You know Friday's edition of Viewpoint is extraordinary. And when it comes to trending, Friday edition of trending is like it's going to make your morning enjoyable. You do not want to miss that. And of course, you know, you can engage with us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, at Atlantic Media and TV. Well, we need to go on this quick break. And when we return, the dailies will be next.
My name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
All right, guys, back again. Yes, boss. My name is Osh, baby.
Yemi Alade.
Yeah, what up, people? It's your boy Victor Edi.
Girl Niniola.
My name is my wife, and just celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV. Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV. We wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Well, yes, it's now time we go straight to the papers and see what they have on the front page. And for review today, as always, we have 5 papers. We have this day, The Punch, The Vanguard, The Guardian, and also The Nation will be wrapping things up. You do know I always enjoy to start with Punch to see if we give you that puncher to get you out of bed and indeed enjoy your weekend with us. And on The Punch this morning, the leading story reads, Tinubu may drop controversial names from pardon list. Is a major screamer on the front page of The Punch, and no surprise, you know, there's under pressure looking at that very controversial list. But let's see if we take some riders to that. The Attorney General of the Federation probes presidential pardon list after NDLEA and ICPC and police allege name smuggling by committee. Oh man, you can just read more of that story on page 2. Something to laugh about. But anyway, let's leave the laugh on that very controversial list and go to others. PDP crisis, court freezes controversial or conventional plans, and you can get that on page 43. Military declares war on new terror group, Wolo Wolo. Oh my. And you can get more of that story on page 43. Well, we're laughing because, well, what should we do? We should not cry about it. But it looks as if every growing year, we seem to be having a new terror group add to the list of the ones who are already battling. But anyway, we'll battle not with that, but I'll employ you to read more of that story on page 43. Abure touts Oti-led Labour Party faction over infighting. Well, anyway, a lot of laugh there, but page 7 seems to have that story. Nigeria missing as IMS believes African fastest growing economies. And you can get more of that very story on page 23 of the Punch newspaper. Now let's still continue to see if we have other major stories there also. Bandits kill 5 policemen, 3 guards in Zamfara. It's a sad and disturbing one on page 42. And also what seems to be frightening is man burns ex-girlfriend inside Oyo barracks. And wow, that very disturbing story, wow, quite disturbing, you can get on page 4 and 5. But what you get on page 44, Hajj, Saudi Arabia slashes Nigerian camp slots to only 67,000. And the reason for that will be seen on page 44. But what's on page 2 and also the picture of the day is INEC to review lecturer's role as Senate confirms Amupiton. And all of that confirmation took place yesterday. And you can see he's all smiles. And, well, looks as if he's ready for the job then. But anyway, we're still right here doing our job. But that's the much we can take from the Punch.
All right, let's see what the nation has for us this morning. The lead story says, INEC Chair Amupitan, I will confront poll logistic crisis. And the rider says, there's need for Electoral Offences Commission. Senate clears Tinubu's nominee. Well, more of that story is on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. Yeah, Nigeria will surpass the International Monetary Fund's 3.9% growth forecast, says experts. The writers say inflation drop a reflection of reforms. A stock market gains 389 billion naira. More of that story is on page 6 of the Nation newspaper. Anambra 2025. ADC candidates makes case for people-centered leadership. APGA committed to credible polls, says Soludo. A governor not defecting to another party. Well, that very big story is on page 34 of the Nation newspaper. NMA, Kanu's ailments not life-threatening. He is fit to stand trial. Interesting story on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. Senate steps down Electoral Act bill for wider consultation. And that story is on page 6 of the Nation newspaper. NBA, police to jointly review tinted glass permits. That story is on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. And still on page 4, presidential clemency list still under review, says the Attorney General of the Federation. Let's see if we have more stories here at the sidemas. A court fixes Monday to hear suits on PDP convention. A Bayelsa Council chairman quit party as senator joins the All Progressive Congress. Well, that story is on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. A CNG attracts $1 billion investment. That's on page 7. And what we have on page 2, FCT Minister Wike throws jabs at Peter Obi. Well, interesting story. Let's see what we have as the picture of the day. That picture was taken at the 3rd year anniversary of the Ekiti State governor, who is Governor Biodun Onabanjo. Anyways, that's all we're taking this morning on the Nation newspaper. Let's see what this day has for us today. The lead story here says, a federal government presidential pardon still under review. No convicts released yet. We have a lot of riders to that. Says the government taking final look at the list for remedial purposes. Appreciates citizens' vigilance, constructive feedback. Declares reaction demonstrates Nigerians are about justice and good governance. Herbert Macaulay's family canvasses restoration of legacy. Well, more of that story is on page 10 of this day newspaper. Let's go to the top mass. A federal government's over $1 billion private sector investments mobilized to boost CNG adoption. And the rider says Bloomberg, Dangote refinery slashes crude purchase for over 50%, fueling supply concerns. Well, that story is on page 10 of this day newspaper. Yeah, what we have on page 39 of this day newspaper, Chimamanda Adichie bags 3 prestigious European awards. Wow, that's a big win for Nigeria. Well, that's on page 39 of this day newspaper. Let's see what we have at the sidemas. Senate confirms Amupitan as INEC chair. Well, that story is on page 10 of this day newspaper. I think that's all we're having. And the picture of the day. is that of the presentation of 2 books by Dakuku Peterside in Lagos. We can see present is the former Vice President, Professor Yemi Osibanjo, and other dignitaries. Well, all of that took place yesterday in Lagos. Well, that's all we're taking this morning on this day newspaper. Let's see what we have on The Guardian. The lead story, how praise singers override party agenda, scorecards at rallies. More music, less manifesto. Well, that big story is on page 4 and 5 of The Guardian newspaper. Let's see what we have at the top mass. The Nigerian Bar Association Speedel, police agreed to review tinted permits policy. That story is on page 27 of The Guardian newspaper. Obi Wike trade words over 2027 presidency, capacity to lead. Well, still talking 2027 elections on page 29 of The Guardian newspaper. Aviation experts kick as Kalu accuses pilots of smoking marijuana. A interesting story on page 28 of The Guardian newspaper. Let's see what we have at the bottom mass. Heavy reliance on oil. Domestic debt exposed Nigerians to financial risks. IMF warns. Well, interesting story on page 6 of The Guardian newspaper. NMA says counterfeit for trial as Ohaneze group advocates dialogue. Well, that story is on page 28 of The Guardian newspaper. Defections, legal disputes rock PDP as APC governors project strength, unity in Kebbi State. That story is on page 6 of The Guardian newspaper. Presidential pardon under review, says the Attorney General of Federation, as Macaulay's family pushes back. Well, you can read more of that on page 7 of The Guardian newspaper. World Food Day. I know Mr. Michael's happy about this. The federal government taxed on support for local farmers, equitable distribution. Well, that story is on page 7 of The Guardian newspaper. And the picture of the day, that's just a screamer of the lead story, talking about more music, less manifesto. We can see on your mandate we shall stand, weary, loafing your weary, and all of that. So that's telling us that most times all of these singers and all of that, we don't even get to hear about the manifestos. We just hear the songs and all of that. They hire entertainers to just sing and sing, and at the end of the day, we don't get the manifestos.
What I get is we'll just go to these rallies with our cap.
Exactly. Anyways, that's all we're taking this morning on The Guardian newspaper.
Well, the Vanguard is indeed the last paper for us to quickly look at as we'll look at the papers today. And on the Vanguard this morning, the leading story reads, "In my time, losers will congratulate winners." Well, interesting it is. Amin Puton is talking about that. You do know he was confirmed yesterday as the new INEC chairman. But let's see if we take some few riders to follow that very leading story. Gets any confirmation as INEC chairman, which we've said, promises to work with IMC NCC orders to improve polls. I will audit IREF to identify glitches that undermine 2023 elections. Says he was never in Tinubu's election legal team. An electoral act amendment suffers setback. But I'd rather tell you to get more back from that very story on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. Let's see if we take some other major one. National Grid loses about 4,091 megawatts in September. And no surprise, honestly, last month we had less light supply across the country. And no surprise, that report is coming out on page 19. Presidential pardon, Macaulay should not have been lumped with ex-convicts. And these are credited to family. And I understand why they seem to have that. Because, well, he was no drug addict, or rather was he a convict, but always more of something that was orchestrated by our colonial masters, and they deprived him of the right he would have gotten. So putting him with ex-convicts, well, the family feels different. And I'll just implore you to take that story on page 10. Suicide takes center stage as Vanguard Third Mental Health Summit holds today. And well, you do know Nigeria is turning to be the African capital of suicide rates, and page 7 seems to have that story. Why we will not release inmate pardoned by Tinubu and these are credited to the Attorney General of the Federation, and page 2 has that story as the controversy rages on. And I'll just implore you to take more of that on page 2. Let's see if we take some other leading stories still on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. Users raid data depletion threatens telecom sector growth at sector's $1 billion United States dollar gain at risk. Subscriber accused telecom of manipulation, threatening class action, and telcos dismiss allegation as baseless. But I'll tell you not to dismiss that story, but get more of it on page 14. 2026 World Cup playoff, 14 billion windfall for FIFA awaits NFF if they qualify, if you know what I mean. But get that story on page 30 of the sport part of the Vanguard. 2027 APC Mall have taken over INC Scribe cries out. And you can get more of that story on page 9. Rivers revoked 134 billion contract awarded by EBAS, others refund. Oh my. Anyway, that firework you can get on page 12. But what the picture of the day is that of all smiles and a feeling of I am ready. Not me, but the new INEC chairman, and I'm talking about Professor Mupiton, as he really was confirmed yesterday by the red chambers. I'm talking about the Nigerian Senate. And you can see him truly ready and ready to go. But anyway, that's much we can go on the papers this morning. I will always implore you that if you find any that truly fancies you, well, no need of just looking at what we've just had already. Go grab a copy of the paper and read more to get abreast. But we'll tell you to do that only after Viewpoint has ended on your #1 TV station, Atlantic TV, right here in the beautiful city of Warri. But anyway, don't worry about it. Let's see if we take some major high headlines on the front page of the dailies. And one that truly catches my fancy is the issue that seems to be raging. And we're talking about the controversial list. And we're talking about the pardon list that we have seen and we have not seen, we've heard and we've not heard. All of that, the AGF is telling us, calm down, cool your temper. It's still there. We've not released anybody, but honestly, social media is awash with a whole lot of issues as it concerns some very funny names that have made their mark on that very list. Mercy, we're happy we are not on the list. We are here doing our job. But anyway, funny to say, we've heard countless names that, yeah, we've tried to investigate, yet we know on social media they've been released. But now the AGF is telling us, sorry, social media has released them, but they are still right here in the cell and in detention. Honestly, I'm getting more confused.
Same here. I don't know what's happening because we've been seeing videos of persons released and how they are being celebrated and all of that, getting back to their loved ones and everything going on. And then AGF is coming out to say, we've not released anybody. So who are releasing the ones we are seeing on social media? Nigeria is just one place that you don't just understand what's going on. Because we are seeing something on social media that some persons have been released.
And we saw them celebrating real time.
Yes, we saw it. And now you're coming out to say they've not released anybody. The list is still under review. Please, make me get this. I'm still trying to get it.
Well, anyway, I thought my confusion, I thought you would help me address my confusion. It looks like you're more confused than myself. But anyway, no confusion about taking some other majors, especially on the front page of, the dailies. And one that's also a major concern is the issue of the new INEC chairman. He has come to say, well, winners or losers will congratulate winners, which is something very hard to find in the Nigeria electoral process.
But he's not breaking any records. President Goodluck Jonathan did that. He congratulated Buhari. So he's not breaking any records.
Well, anyway, he's trying to set a mark. That's one in a lifetime we'll see. Maybe he wants to increase on that. And if he does, we'll be more than happy to see that happen.
I really hope it comes to that, that the losers will congratulate the winners. And
just like it is in the Western world.
This can only happen when there's a free and fair election. So if it's not free and fair, after all of that, what we keep hearing is court cases here and there. So once it's free and fair, of course, losers will just accept it and congratulate the winners. So this is Amoputan telling us to expect a free and fair election. And sir, Professor Sir, I am holding you by your words.
Well, anyway, if you don't hold him by his words, you can go to court. Well, anyway, we are not going to any court, but going on a break. When we come back, dialogue will take center stage right here on Viewpoint on Atlantic TV.
When the lights go out, who do you call? Ticado! Ticado Energy Solutions Limited, your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Ticado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Ticado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at ticado.com.ng. Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace. Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Every year, millions of lives are stolen, dreams cut short, futures traded in silence. Human trafficking is a modern day slavery. It hides in plain sight, tearing families apart and trapping the vulnerable in fear. But together we can end it. Together we can protect, we can rescue, and we can give hope. Say no to exploitation. Say no to slavery. Say no to human trafficking. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
Ruth Gender Foundation.
I'm Ruth Edema Collins. I hold a first degree in physics electronics, a postgraduate qualification in business administration, and a nationally certified French language tutor. Career-wise, I'm an educational facilitator. I'm the managing director at Atlantic Media and TV, and I'm also a director at Rukotech Integrated Services Nigeria Limited. I'm a wife and a mother, and I like dressing up to show up. Yeah, so that's basically me. Thank you. Root Gender Foundation was inspired from my personal experiences growing up as a young girl in a typical Nigerian environment. For me, it was being different. It made people bully me, abuse me, and harass me. I was always misunderstood and underrated. Root Gender is a foundation that is dedicated to building confidence in the Nigerian girl child through educational and inspirational programs, like supporting programs that promote girl child education. We also organize physical exercises for our young girls for the overall well-being of their mental and physical states, and also for the acquisition of self-defense skills. We also sensitize girls on laws that protect them. In our constitution, a lot of girls do not know that they have rights, that there are laws that protect their interests in Nigeria. Hence, they are vulnerable, they are living in fear, which is stopping them from reaching their full potentials. So we sensitize them on the laws that protect their interests. This, like I said, is visioned towards building confidence in the Nigerian girl child. So that is just a wrap up of what we do at Root Gender Foundation. I would say I resonate with the struggles and the challenges of the girl child, particularly the Warri girl child. I happen to grow up in the heart of Warri. I'm from an average background. My family is an average one, but I experienced a lot. Like I said, I was bullied, I was overlooked, I was harassed for being a different child, for daring to be different, and nobody was taking note and tapping into my potentials. So my interest for the girl child is I would love to be a voice for the girl child. They need people to believe in them. They need people to speak for them. I also want the Warri girl child to know that there is hope beyond the reef. I want them to see the bigger picture. I want them to know that they can compete on global platforms. They can compete on international platforms, and they can do very well. We have the likes of Ada Gold, or Maumi, and the rest of them. They are all competing very well on international platforms, and I know that you too can do that, and I want you to know that is why we are here. Root Gender Foundation is here to make you understand that you can actually be what you want to be. As part of our objectives at Root Gender Foundation, we are dedicated to promoting girl child education. Like I said, I represent the brand Warri Girl Child. I represent the brand, the African Girl Child, because I have gone through the struggles from there to here. So giving 2 million to the best female participants is just a way to share them on. It's just a way to make them know that we believe in you. I believe in you. You can look up to us. We are sharing you on. It is not about the money. We believe in your potential. We want our girls to know that you are doing the right thing at the right time. You are in the right place, and this is what you should be doing. That's why we are supporting you, and we will always be here to support you. Girl child empowerment to me is enforcing laws that protect our girl child. You know, my NGO, we've been pursuing a bill that we will see to be passed. We are asking that our girls should be allowed to carry pepper spray as weapons of self-defense. Because if you look at it, our women have nothing to protect themselves. They are just there by the grace of God. So we are pursuing laws that will protect the girl child. So empowerment, girl child empowerment to me is enforcing laws that protect the girl child, educating the girl child on time and money management, financial literacy, and equipping them with self-defense skills. Also, access to quality education. This to me is girl child empowerment and nothing more. A girl child must possess effective communication skills. They should be able to communicate effectively. A girl child should be financially literate her time. Yes. Also, most importantly, another skill is self-awareness. It's important for our girls to know who they are, to believe in themselves. That's the vision of our NGO, building confident girls that can achieve their full potentials in Nigeria. That is our NGO's vision. So yeah, those are some of the skills I believe that the girl child should possess. She needs role models. She needs people that have dared that path and have made it. Our young girls need role models. That's why we have to do better. We have to do the work. We have to bridge the gap. We have to share them on like we are doing. You can achieve your dreams. First, you have to make education your best friend. Every effort you put into learning will always be there for you to never fail you. Boys will break your heart, people will break your heart, but every effort you put towards learning anything, everything will always come through for you. So for you to achieve your dreams, look towards the right people, look towards the right direction. There are people that have achieved in that route. I will encourage you to look up to them, learn from them. That is just the way to achieve your dreams. My message to the Warri Child, like I said, I represent the brand Warri Girl Child. We are letting the world know that we are not vile, we are not roused, we are educated, we compete intellectually, we have good things ahead of us. We can do it on the global platform, we can do it on the national platform, and we are everything there is to be a woman. I would encourage you, Warri Girl Child, make education your best friend. Make education your best friend. Learn new things. Learn new languages. Okay? And the sky will be your starting point. We are always here to share you up. Don't forget that my name is Ruth Edema Collins from Root Gender Foundation, and from all of us wishing you the best, we say keep watching Atlantic TV.
Ruth Gender Foundation.
With the recent surge, especially as it concerns gas, and not only that, and also we're not finding kerosene in any major filling station, many Nigerians seem to have indeed turned to wood. And when I mean wood, we mean firewood. Now, with the recent move by the federal government to see how they can deal with the issue of deforestation, that seems not to have in any way helped, knowing that many Nigerians still turn to firewood to help them, especially as it concerns their energy need when it comes to cooking. Nigeria continues to experience high deforestation rates with annual losses around 3.5% to 3.7% of its forest cover, causing significant environmental damage and social impacts. Recent efforts to curb or combat this has not indeed yielded any result. Hence, we are still losing more trees by the day. But with Nigeria's continuous loss of trees and also vegetation, what really impact will these have, not just on the economy, but also we're talking about health of Nigerians, knowing that our trees are indeed a major one as it concerns dealing with the issue of CO2 and indeed increasing the balance when it comes to oxygen. But with that in mind and every other impact this will have on long term, all we need to do is to see how we can indeed deal with the issue of deforestation, hence a need for us to look at it on this lovely edition of Dialogue. And we're talking about deforestation in Nigeria and its resultant effect. That's what we're having as a major one today. On the show, we're talking about deforestation that seems to be one of the highest in the world as it stands, and how best we can curb and deal with the issue of deforestation. And to help us talk about this is no other person but somebody that deals with the environment, and we're talking about no other person but Mr. Felix Undumadu. Good morning and welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning and thank you for having me. Good morning, viewers.
Well, anyway, many will say our current state as it stands, Nigeria has one of the highest level of deforestation rates in the world. It's estimated that, like I said in my introduction, and we lose about 3.5 to 3.7% of our forests annually. Now, I want you to really help us. Yes, in my introduction, I talked about the issue of energy when it comes to firewood. And that has been a major reason for us losing these trees by the day. But what other reasons also do we have as a major one that causes more of this depletion of our forest reserves?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Before I go further, once again, I have to appreciate the management and the staff of Atlantic TV for always creating this platform for awareness and then promoting environmental sustainability and even environmental justice. So kudos to you guys who are doing well.
Well, thank you.
After having said that, let me go straight to the issue of deforestation. Now, the trees that you see that people use for firewood or other energy sources, as it were, is because of, one, lack of awareness, and then the other part also is poverty in its own side. But before I go further, I want us to holistically look at what we mean by deforestation. In the instance, before you have deforestation, you have to have forest first. Now, deforestation is the excessive cutting down of trees or vegetation areas for either for developmental purposes, for energy use, or for even mining. So when you look at it this way, you also see that deforestation, we have so many types of deforestation. For example, you have the savanna, you have different types of forests. So you have the savanna forest, you have the mangrove forest, which is more dominant in the south, in the Niger Delta, like the rivers, the Delta, Edo, and even Lagos. So when you look at the savanna forest, most time is dominant in the north, like in Kano and other part. Just like you said from your introduction, Nigeria have lost over 90 to 95%, 80% of its forest, natural forest, since inception. Nigeria is next to Brazil. Brazil have lost over 90 to 95%, while Nigeria is next to them by losing about 80% of its forest. We have two types of forest, basically. Then from, like I told you, from the natural forest. That is when we will not talk about the savanna, the swampy forest, and then the mangrove and all that. But the two major types are the natural and the plantation forest. When we talk about the natural forest, we are talking about the forest from its source originally made by nature. Then when you talk about the plantation forest, we are talking about the creation of a forest by man by way of planting tree in a particular area to make that place the causes of deforestation. So before I go further, before I look at the issues and the causes, I also want us to look at the potentiality, the contribution of forest. So when we are saying forest is part of the ecosystem. And in fact, forest has its own ecosystem and balancing the ecosystem. Forest can also be linked to protection or to help in the water cycle. When we talk about water cycle, that's when you talk about the rainfall pattern and all that. Now, forests also help because when you have trees, you see that the amount of rainfall coming straight to the earth or coming straight to the soil is reduced because those trees in the forest and the vegetations, they act as a shade to reduce the straight.
More like a canopy.
Yeah, more like a canopy. So those rainfall, even if it is a heavy rainfall, it does not go straight down to the soil in its own. Then also, don't also forget that forest serve as a resources for medicine. Most of the medicine we take, whether locally or
herbal
or anyhow you call it, even in medical, you see that about 70% of the drugs we take, they are from the herbs. That means they are from the forest. You have trees, you have vegetations that have this element of healing, and then that is also used for herbs. So those are what forest does. And like I told you, forest also is a habitation to primates, like those animals like the monkey, the gorillas. Like you are seeing that now the Cross River gorilla is reducing as a result of deforestation. So because so many species, they are now become a danger species because of deforestation. You know, when you have a danger species, it automatically leads to extinction. Those species might even lead to extinction. So having said what the forest does for the nature, part of it, not all, so we want to look at the causes.
Yeah.
Why this?
Because as more of us looking at the gains.
Yes.
Because in my introduction, I said more of the reason we're losing these forests is on account of we having cheap energy source to deal with our cooking and the rest.
Yes.
And you've really given us an extra as an environmentalist on as it concerns the gains embedded in us having these forests.
Yes.
But I still want us to continue because we're looking at the financial part of it.
Okay.
Yes, you've talked greatly about how it helps when we talk about not just only protection of wildlife lives, but also the issue of medicine itself.
Yes.
And that's why I want us to go. Do you see economical push as a reason of us losing our trees by the day?
In two ways. When you look at the economically, you're supposed to come in two ways.
Okay.
One, when you even preserve this forest, they boost economy.
Yeah,
For example, you can use them as tourist centers. That boosts the economy.
Of course.
Then another one again, the locals, they also depend on some major resources from the same forest. Don't forget that there are other species, whether animals or plants, that the locals depends on as a source of their food.
Yeah.
So it's a part of their economic life cycle, or it's part of their social economy. But looking at it as a nation, or why we have this deforestation, it might be seems to be economical, but not really economical.
Why would you say that?
Okay, why I said that, that now brings me to the theory of the Cobra theory in economics. When you are trying to solve a particular problem, immediate problem, then you end up creating a bigger one in the future. You understand? So when you look at it, that for example, you clear forest areas for mining, for developmental purposes. To us, we see it as economic objective and as an economic gain. But at the end run, have you thought that losing this forest might even cause losing more economy, more resources than the gain we anticipated? So that is why I said that we are looking at it in a wrong pattern, that with deforestation is an economic gain to us. No. For example, when you like I said, should we base on the causes now, so that maybe by then we'll be able to elaborate on it. So
okay, I want us, before we go there, now I have a very staggering report here, that between 2001 and 2023, Nigeria lost a significant amount of tree cover, which with estimates suggesting an annual loss of approximately 1.14 million acres of tree cover between these two periods of just a decade.
Yes.
Now, I'm only really concerned again. Yeah, you talked about the growing risks associated with us having more deforestation than we used to. But I want us to still remain there, because there's this liking, I don't know whether it's true, that we're having high cases of malaria on account of us losing our trees. That the tree cover seems to even help deal with the issue of malaria. But as much as we are losing it, we're now having waters being stored around some major places that if these covers were there, it will not be. Hence, we're now having high risks of malaria. I'm really concerned about the impact. Now, how true is this? And what other quick health issues come on account of us having high rate of deforestation?
Okay, thank you very much. When you look at the deforestation, the impact is enormous, especially when you look at the health impact.
Yes.
Like you said in your introduction, the tree themselves, they absorb the CO2,
yes,
and they help in circulation of oxygen. You understand? That's what they do. And don't also forget that these trees, they filter the kind of air that we breathe. They also help to reduce air pollution, because when they help to absorb CO2, they have already reduced air pollution in that regard. So assuming you don't have that tree to help you take the CO2, that means the CO2 is in the air. It will not only cause health issues, but also environmental issues and even socioeconomic issues.
Okay.
So when we look at the deforestation in itself, it's even linked to several diseases. Because, like I told you, the forest itself has its own ecosystem. And this ecosystem, there are organisms, both micro and macroorganisms, that interact to make sure that they reduce these diseases. You understand?
Yes.
So they help in reducing these diseases. But when you don't have these organisms in place to help curb these diseases, you will see that there will be outbreak of diseases, infections, and all that. And talking about the storming water, for example,
yes,
like I told you, if you have an area where there is a forest before now, that help to absorb, to reduce the impact of the rain, you see that when those forests are not there, you are likely to have accumulation of storming water in that place.
Yes.
And don't forget that storming water is a breed to rodents, like mosquitoes, yes, and other reptiles that you see. You understand? Okay. So you will not eliminate that theory that is also increasing malaria. Because when you look at almost every individual in Nigeria, I made this statement that last time I appeared, that when you test every average Nigerian, you see that there must be a symptom of malaria. Either it is one or even forming, but there must be that trace of malaria. Why do we have these traces of malaria? Because you have breeding places for mosquitoes. You understand? So what the forest would have helped to absorb, it is now left unattended to. And like I also told you, when you look at the mangrove forest, for example, they are not only there, they also act as a purifier. Don't forget I mentioned that the forest help in the water cycle. So they have their own way of acting to make sure they purify. There are some vegetations that help in purify. Like I gave you an example of the mango forest. When water passes through it, it does not come out the same.
Yes.
The same way
it comes more refined.
It comes more refined because it has gone through process. So when the potentiality of the water circulation now is reduced by way of having those elements that purify them, you will see that the disease is imminent. There is evidence that disease is sure. You understand? So
it's correlated.
It's correlated.
We losing more vegetation will generally increase the sickness and disease trending around this community.
Yes, you are right.
Okay, now let's leave that. And there's even a very staggering report that was recently released indicating that Nigeria has lost about 253,000 hectares of land in 2024 alone, which emits about almost 114 metric tons of CO2, which you talked about, which is indeed a high rate. Yes. And one of the hard-hit states in Nigeria as it stands, according to the deforestation alarm notice, is Cross River State, which indeed we do know has a high level of mangrove forest. Yes. But let's leave that and come to Delta State, because I'm really more concerned us talking about our very state here. Now, in your own assessment, is Delta losing the war against deforestation, or are they really just neck deep into it? Because on my this report did not give us a clear indication of where Delta stands. In your own honest assessment, where are we as it concerns the issue of deforestation?
Okay, sorry, before I come to Delta State, let me touch a little on the Cross River like you mentioned.
Yes.
When you are talking about deforestation in Cross River, don't also forget that this new coastal line that has been projected, that road has affected so many ecosystems. In fact, it has caused ecosystem imbalance. You understand? Like people see it, this is a good infrastructure, it will make the place beautiful, but the implication, the environmental implication, nobody have considered it. That road crosses over hectares of land. You understand? So there is no way that you not have some element of forest, whether freshwater forest and all that, within that axis that has been eliminated as a result of the coastal
road.
So when you say there is more of emissions of CO2 in
114 metric tons of CO2,
in Cross River, you can also attribute it to this, that okay, so many trees have been brought down, so many ecosystems have been disturbed, so many forests has been eliminated. So there is no way these forests can also contribute when they are not there again to
the emission of CO2.
To reduce the CO2. Having said that, let's come straight to Delta State as it were. When you look at the Delta State, I've not actually seen a campaign. I've not actually seen an enforcement. I've not actually seen an advocacy focusing on the deforestation in Delta State as it were. You understand? Let me give you, for instance, when we talk about deforestation, one of the causes is for developmental purposes, like I said in my introduction.
Now, when we're having more layouts, new development ground, all estates coming in Delta State.
Apart from that, having new estate, you can also see that in so many cities, they will say this was old road, this is a new road. Now, those new roads, how did they come into being? They went to as far as a forest that were not, no habitations, women were not habitating there. You know, they said, okay, the old one maybe is overpopulated and they needed maybe to create a double lane and get a new space. So in that, you see that when they tell you that we have constructed 500 kilometers of road in that place, take it that 500 kilometers of
vegetation has also been
has been lost. You understand? So when you look at it, when you look at it in Delta State, I will say for sure, we have not even started carrying out the fight as it's supposed to be, because you still have this issue of logging, wood logging and all that in Delta State. In fact, that is the area where you have less government attention and then less government regulation. that is wood lodging itself. Because you see people, they fell trees, even bigger trees. They fell those trees, they carry them, nobody asks them, why are you falling this tree, where are you taking them to? You understand? And some people also, they can also go because of agricultural purposes. Yeah. They can go in forest, they buy a forest and it's cheaper. So they clear the whole forest and they plant crops for agricultural purposes. So are you seeing it? You are now increasing these forest loss. And don't forget, like I said, Nigeria as a whole has lost over 400,000 hectares of its forest. Yeah. Over 400,000 hectares of its forest. Now, when you look at it, much have not been done to replenish those ones. Because even if we said it is better you have the natural forest, but don't also forget this saying that half bread is better than none. It is better you have the plantation forest than having none at all. So when you are clearing these places, you are supposed to create plantation forests where trees are being planted, and you can even also encourage people to plant trees in their different landscape. You understand? Don't also forget that it is never impossible for you to have a development without clearing the ecosystem of that environment. Example is where we are right now. When you look at this place, you have so many beautiful buildings, but you still have the ecosystem maintained. Yeah. You still have the forest.
So you feel that was a calculated idea or plan by those developers to do it this way?
Yes, it is calculated plan by them. They intend not to eliminate the ecosystem. Yeah, they
to preserve it.
They intend to preserve it as a way of environmental preservation and sustainability. That is why they created it, that you see, you have beautiful buildings, but you still have the natural ecosystem being maintained. So government also, even when they are clearing area, like you said, for estate and all that, they can as well factor the maintenance or the sustainability in mind while creating those estates. You must not clear all area to build an estate.
Okay, well, anyway, well said. I'm really, really interested in us looking at deforestation, especially as it concerns that very report indicating that we seem to be one of the highest in the world in losing our trees. But the question is, what really impact will this in every way have on the economy? Yes, we do know that most of the loss is on account of increasing development in these areas. But indeed, just like he said, you might be gaining on some and losing a great deal behind. But anyway, we're still not behind with the discussion, but moving forward with it. And that's why I really want to come back to you. Now, let's look at the issue of logging. Yes, Delta State will pride itself to have one of the biggest ply business before now. We'll talk about AT&P that existed some couple of years back, but now it seems to be in limbo. But irrespective of that, why do you feel Delta State is now becoming a hub when it comes to the issue of logging? Okay.
The reason is very simple. Okay. Because you see that, like I told you, the Delta State, when you come to this area, it is well blessed when it comes to forest. So you have different types of forest, like I said. You have the mangrove forest in Delta State again. You even have the fresh forest is still in Delta State. You understand? So these trees, they are peculiarities, or they are different breed of trees that you might not even find elsewhere. Wow. So people intend to come because of one recommendation or the other. They come to cut down those trees. But the question they are not asking themselves, when they cut down those trees and they are gone down, they exhaust it, then what will happen? That means they will not have another place to cut down. And that is why we talk about whatever we do, the issue of sustainability. You understand? When you are cutting down those trees now, at this point to meet up your own need, what about the future generation? Which tree are they going to use? Which vegetations are they going to use?
Do you mean Delta State and Nigeria as a whole do not have a sustainable plan as it concerns it? Because let's look at it. We started having issue with birds, and I'm talking about chickens. When we had local chickens and we hardly reared them. But when we started rearing them, we had a low level of import of these chickens to Nigeria. That means as much as you are killing, you are replacing them. Now, do you mean our trees are not factioned out in that way? that we seem to be falling this tree without replacing them. Is that the present stand at the moment, not just in Delta, but Nigeria as a whole?
In fact, to the best of my knowledge, I have not seen any national policy on forestation in Nigeria. Like this is a national policy, though we have national policy on environment.
Yes.
We have national policy on other issues like education and other issues.
Yes.
But I have not seen that policy document that have stated that in Nigeria, this is the way to go when it comes to forestation. When you want to maintain the forest, this is the way to go. I have not seen it. It might be existing, but for me,
it's not the best of your knowledge.
And that means it is not obvious and conspicuous.
Yeah,
because
for everybody
to see, because it's not supposed to be hidden. It's supposed to be everywhere for everybody to see. Especially people like us that belongs to these professional bodies.
Environmentalists.
It would have been made available to us to have access. Having said that as well, when you look at Nigeria and Delta states, when I came the other time, I talked about our lack of planning, especially when it comes to long term. We don't have that policy document, that we don't have that planning strategy, that this is the long-term plan, this is the middle term, and this is the long-term plan that will go. So every policy that you see, it now determines by the driver and the initiator of that policy.
Yes.
For example, like I told you, Nigeria, most time their developmental plan is planned around the electionary cycle, you know, like I said that last time. Because when a government comes with an effort to carry out a particular issue, in fact, it might even be considered as a social issue. But when the next government comes, you see that the drive, the forces, the drive and the forces lie low, and it becomes just a normal
white paper.
White paper that people will just flip up and say, oh, this thing was there before, but it will not be like that. But if we have that developmental processes plan in place, and in fact, a systematic plan in place that every government that comes, no matter your person and your belief, you have to follow suit. You understand? Like when you look at American, for example, the issue of climate change has been systematic. Even when Donald Trump is saying that he does not believe in those climate change, you understand?
Yes.
But he cannot eliminate those policy and those contributions to climate change, even as a person when they don't believe in it. You understand? So you see, take that, for example, a Nigerian president saying that he does not believe in any of this. You will see that automatic, that thing is jettisoned. You understand? That thing automatically
So you feel more concern have not been placed on the issue of afforestation?
No, more concern have not. In fact, what we have been doing now is just, we are still in the mercy of organizations advocating for afforestation. There have not been this central element. When you, if you want to be sure, ask yourself, how many of these government institutions maintain afforestation, even within their own
local environment?
That's the question. That's when you know that these people, they are doing it. You understand? But it depends on the driver. For example, I have to mention Professor Andy Gwenga, the former Vice Chancellor of Delta State University, Abraka. He had this plan when he was the vice of Abraka. He had this plan of planting about, was it about 1,000 or above every year?
Wow.
You understand? As a VC. So it is not a program of the university that program must be held every year. But since when he left as a VC, we have not heard whether it is sustained or that policy is being maintained. Is being followed. So you see now. So this is what when we talk about systematic. When something is systematic, it will not depend on individual to strive, but it will depend on the system to just naturally flow like that, no matter who is in place.
Now, let's talk about the issue of international collaboration with this planned move. Like you said, it looks as if the Nigerian government and indeed both at the state, local, and also federal level seem not to have any developmental goal as it concerns afforestation or planting of trees. But let's look, can the international organization help on this? Because the reason I asked this, I could still remember just last year when the former Brazilian president, Bolsonaro, was in charge, he made mention of hitting hard on the local forest in Brazil that was home to about helping to remove about almost 45% of the world's CO2. And I could still understand that some international collaborations were made, and even that resulted in real deep cry coming from many foreign countries for him not to do so, undermining he went ahead to log, which everybody felt was the reason he lost the election to the present President Silva. But international collaboration, can they also help for us to continue on the line of afforestation rather than deforestation, knowing that we are second after Brazil in this trend?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. When you look at it, when we talk about international organizations,
yes.
Now don't forget that Nigeria also belongs to so many international organizations. Like you have the UN, you have the World Health Organization and other organizations that Nigeria belongs to. But don't also forget that each time they came up with protocols, they come with conventions, you understand, they come with a law. And don't also forget that these laws, declarations and all that. Don't forget that these declarations, these protocols, these conventions, they depend on bilateral agreement, and they depend on the nation to have interest and implement it. You understand? Just like in Nigeria, you have law. They will say according to local circumstances. Yes. That is how it is. The international organization, they will not come and force it on you. You have agreed to follow it. But if you deviate, the highest they can do is to place some sanctions. You understand? So which Nigeria is also...
Which we've never been sanctioned on that.
No, we've not been sanctioned because we have not... how do I say it now? You know, in Nigeria, we have a way of doing our things. We will not officially tell you are not doing this thing. But unofficially, we are doing it, and officially we are saying we are not doing it. You understand? So it's two ways. If not, but when you look at the issue of afforestation, for example, it's supposed to start, like I told you, from government institutions. You encourage the schools, like every public school. Use an example. Every public school should be an exemplary school. That this is how you plan your landscaping. These are how it's supposed to be. And you now even use that one also as a benchmark for private schools, that this is how your environment is supposed to be. But when you don't have that in place, like I told you, it depends on the good way and the person's understanding of the
issue,
the prevailing issues, and decide to help. And don't also forget, before I go further, let me even bring this to theory to this discussion. We have what we call social issues, and we have what we call wicked problems. Now, what is the difference between social issues and wicked problems? Social issue is that all of us have agreed that this is a problem. So we call them social problems. These are problems. All of us agree and that we have to tackle it. But wicked problem is a problem that all of us did not agree is a problem. Some people are seeing it as a problem, some say it's not a problem. Meanwhile, it is a problem that is ravaging every sector. You understand? That is how I will liken this deforestation to be in Nigeria. Because it's not everybody that have seen that there's actually deforestation. It's not everybody that have seen that there's deforestation.
And once they don't see that, it persists to be a problem.
It persists to be a problem.
Now, let's look at the issue of global warming, because now the world is thinking towards the issue of, how will I put it? The world is now getting more aware as it concerns global warming. The world is now getting aware as it concerns conservation of not just only wildlife, but some of these forests. The world is now getting more abreast with wanting to do more for the planet rather than deplete it of its natural resources. And Nigeria seems to be lacking behind on that ground. Now, let's look at it. How can we help redirect that? Because when we were young, we used to have this green revolution by the Obasanjo administration, his first tenure as a military president, where he brought the issue of green revolution and also helped to give birth to Young Farmers Club. Even after he has gone, 10, 20 years after he has gone, that still was sustained. In many schools, we used to have Young Farmers Club. There are people that were ready to be farmers and they were happy about it. In the IBB military administration, it was a pronounced thing in many schools. But now we really see that. But we're having young Nigerians that are also excited to be part of the environment. So how really important is it for us to bring that awareness down to the grassroots, down to the schools, down to the primary schools, down to the secondary schools, for us to catch these people young to see that protecting their environment will come first above every other thing, be it economical, spiritual, physical. So how important is it bringing this to our schools to help make them get that awareness that, yes, environmental sustainability is more of a concern rather than depletion?
Okay, thank you very much. Now you have come to the issue of solutions.
Yes.
Now, when we want to look at the solutions, like you said, the first thing is creating awareness and education.
Because the old generation seem not to care.
Yes.
Let's just come to the young ones.
Okay, that's why I say you create awareness and education, like I told you. Like you mentioned, do secondary school. You can go to those secondary school, you talk to them. You can even create these environmental clubs again. Though some societies, they have environmental club.
Yeah.
Like the Nigerian Environmental Society, they have some environmental club in some secondary school, especially in Lagos, State, but I don't think there is anyone actually in Delta State, but they have in Lagos State. So you create such club and you educate them. You encourage them to plant tree, nurture a tree, and they will run from it. And another thing also, talking about, since you are talking about the young one of the solutions, you also encourage them not to waste their books. They should not be throwing their books unnecessarily. Because the more you throw your book, don't forget that those books are made from
by
the tree.
trees.
You understand? So the more you throw book, the more you throw your books, your papers, the more there is a demand for another paper, and the more they cut more trees to produce another one for you. You understand? And also, we should introduce this recycling system in secondary school, or even in primary school. Tell them they should be a particular way where they dump their waste papers. Those papers, they should keep it there, and it should be a chain reaction that there is a receiving point. You can take it to them from there. They take it to those companies that can recycle it. Don't forget, like I mentioned, everything that even we refer to waste now in Nigeria is being sold.
Yeah.
Those papers are being sold. If you can gather them, have substantial amount of it, you will sell it for some amount, even when the money is meager, but at least it's better than you have wasted it. You understand? So when they are doing these things, they're also helping to conserve the trees. And another thing also, like I told you, if you encourage them that every man or every boy, every girl should plant a tree, in fact, the school should have a system to design a system that you have a tree to your name, you nurture that tree, so that by the time you have left that school, when you come back to your alma mater or you will now see that, this is the tree I planted when I was there. And that now gives you a name. You understand? It's just that that some people will tell you that if you do that, write your name on the tree, that the witches and wizards, they might use it to manipulate you.
Anyway, we're already being manipulated by witches and wizards that we're having less CO2 and having global warming in the world. So we're already being affected by them in every way.
But in Western world, that's what when you go to some schools, you see that even some, they go as far as planting some fruit plant like mangoes and all that. So when they go there...
Do you feel our religious belief are also hampered the growth of we sustaining trees? Because we do know that some communities have some trees they worship, but as Christianity comes in, most of these trees have been fallen, and on account of spiritual attack, as they claim that they hear voices in the night there, and not only that, the tree has been the one stopping the family's growth and faulty family foundation. Do you feel that has also affected our rate of having to maintain these long age trees that are close to 100 years?
I think what you said now reminded me of what Professor Mike Rikefe said during our last FMO Okole competition when we were doing, when he was delivering lecture. He's a Reverend Father. So he was talking about our wickedness to the nature, to the tree himself. You understand that we want to maintain ourselves. We want to go to heaven, but we don't want the trees to survive. And those trees, they were created by God. You understand? I think like the point you mentioned, it is this, like I said earlier, lack of awareness that we think whatever that happens, when you hear some noises, even when it becomes psychological, when it becomes when you are stressed up, when it becomes some kind of things going wrong, you felt they are all witches and wizards. Or even when you hear a cat, a lone cat crying in the night, looking for help, you say the witches, they have come. No, if you go to the Western world, you see that once, even if a child hears the voice of a little cat outside, they rush outside, they rescue that. Even if it is a bird, they go, they carry, they bring it to their house.
But here we bind in the
but
name
here
of...
we start praying, and if there's any way we can kill them, we kill them. But so in that regard, I think by me making reference to Reverend Father Professor Mark, you see that some religious practices, some religious preachers, let me call them preachers, they are tolling in that line of environmental conservation. But just that some that are lacking from it, some they believe that until you cut the ancient tree in your father's house, that you will also remain ancient. You understand that you will never make it. So I think we are using ignorant most times to bring some connotations to what actually does not exist in the right sense. So religious body should, first of all, you have to, like I told you, these religious leaders, it also depends on their knowledge and on their awareness. Yeah. It is what they are knowledgeable about. Like I told you when Professor Mike, because he's a
reverend father.
He's a reverend father, but his knowledge about the environment, then he now brings the environment into his own approach in religious belief. But those people that they don't know, they are not wired that way. They will also tell you, if they have this belief that is the tree or one thing from their forefathers that have caused it, they will also follow that belief and pass it to their congregation. Even their congregation also pass it to their generation with that belief that witches and wizards, you have to follow every tree. No, it's not always like that. So one thing we should do, I think like I said, if there is a systematic approach to it, you see that government will first of all start from, like I said, federal institutions or public institutions. Let me know whether it can be federal, it can be state or local government. But they should start from public institutions. Then you now approach these religious bodies. You talk to them. You organize trainings for them. By the time you organize that training and they are acclimatized with what is going on, you see that they also pass the same message to their congregation. And this is our orientation of following the ancient trees.
Father trees. From your father's side?
Yes, from your father's side, from that they are the one hampering your progress. Meanwhile, the Nigerian system, as it were, does not have that leverage for easy progress. Everybody is struggling it out, you understand? So it's not those people. What about those people that have trees in their father's house, their mother's house, and they see progress? Then what now happen? Does it mean the witches and wizards, they have not found those people?
Maybe it could be white witch. It could be white witch, not black witch.
Okay. So
anyway, the money we are not going to have any witch flying around here. I feel we've come to the end of this edition of the lovely program. Yes, and we're talking about how we can deal with the issue of deforestation. That seems to be growing by the year in Nigeria. As it's been stated, almost 400,000 hectares of forests have been lost. There's, according to a 2024 report, that we seem to be losing it second after Brazil in the world. And what should we do to indeed curb all of that is what we've taken, or rather have taken center stage on Dialogue today. But we will not go without thanking our very own environmentalist, and I'm talking of Mr. Felix Udumadu, for coming put and also giving his own voice to this growing concern as it concerns deforestation in Nigeria. Thank you so much for always honoring our invitation.
Thank you for having me.
We truly appreciate your insight into all that concerns the environment, and most especially our trees and forests. Thank you so much. But for me, it's more of a wrap-up on Dialogue today for the whole week. I only implore you to remember to drop those comments on our different social media platforms. Let's have your take as it concerns the issue of deforestation, and how can we indeed increase more trees to be planted so our children will at the end not deal with spiritual family trees, but have trees that will not only beautify their environment, but give them more reason to go away with the emission of CO2 that they need more oxygen to deal with. But anyway, like I said, our social media handles will be there shortly on your screen. Go drop your comments. Let's get your reaction as it concerns all of that. But for me, Michael Gobadia, well, just let's go on a break. The news will come around the hour. Most certainly will be trending on high ground. Messi is already cooking something up that you love to sit around and enjoy with us on Viewpoint on Atlantic TV.
Alright, my name is Des. Soka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
Alright, guys, back again. Yes, boss. My name is Osh, baby.
CME Alade.
Yeah, what up, people? It's your boy Victor 80.
Girl Niniola.
My name is my wife and just celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
As you know, you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV. Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV, we wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
It is back, it is bigger, and it's better. The Future of the Worry Child second edition is here. It's a one-day career seminar designed to inspire and equip senior secondary school students for greatness. Theme: Beyond Limits, Unlocking the Potential of the Worry Child. Date is 24th day of October 2025. Time 9 a.m. Venue: the Brown Hill Colosseum, Warri in Delta State. Powered by Coral Care Foundation. For more inquiries, please call 08034659576 or 07031946811. The future is bright.
When the lights go out, who do you call? Tikado! Tikado Energy Solutions Limited, your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Tikado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Tikado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at tikado.com.ng. Tikado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
My name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
All right, guys, back again. Yes, boss. My name is Osh, baby.
Yemi Alade.
Yeah, what up, people? It's your boy Victor 80.
Girl Ninyola.
My name is my wife Naija celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV. Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV, we wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
I am SP Dafe Bright and this is Delta State Police Command. Today we'll be treating and addressing an issue that's different from what we've been doing before. Not parading suspect this time, but bringing to you a very important information. Do we know that over 85% of Nigerians do password their phones, whether it's Android phones or iPhones? There's always a password. But how come when we lose our phones, by the time we go to retrieve our lines, we'll go to our bank to check our bank statement, we discover that these people who collected these phones must have siphoned the phones. Now, there are times the people who steal these phones, it is not your phone that they actually need. What they need is your SIM card. Now, how does the SIM card become useful to them? Not just any SIM card, but a SIM card that is linked to your bank account, the one that you usually use to receive SMS alerts. That is what they need. Now, by the time they collect your phone, steal your phone, rob you of your phone, what they do is that they remove this SIM card from your phone and insert it on another phone. So your phone does not really need to power on. They don't even need you to give them your phone password. They don't even need your ATM password. The moment they have access to your SIM card, they can do anything they want to do with your bank account, because all they need is to generate an OTP, and the message, the OTP that is called one-time password, will be sent to that your SIM card, and with that they can do anything they want to do with your account. That is why people lose millions of their life savings simply because they lost their phone. By the side of this video, we'll be doing an illustration. You will see an illustration that talks on how you can password your SIM card. Now, the topic that we are here to discuss, passwording of SIM card. When you get a phone, pick that your phone now. See how you can password your SIM card. If you password your SIM card, by the time for any reason, your phone gets to the wrong hand, even if they remove your SIM card and insert on another phone, the first thing that you will get is a prompt that you should enter your SIM PIN. The moment they cannot get the SIM PIN, they cannot use your SIM card for anything. After the trial of 3, the POC prompt will come because the SIM card will be blocked, and you can only unblock that SIM card when you have the POC number. Some of us don't have our SIM pack, because on the SIM pack it is written there the SIM PIN and the POC number. But because some of us don't have our SIM pack, I would advise you to quickly locate the nearest office of your service provider, be it Airtel, Globalcom or MTN. Approach them and request for your POC number. Once you've gotten your POC number, you follow these instructions and ensure that you password your SIM PIN. Your SIM PIN is very, very important. On my phone, for instance, once you turn off the phone and you turn it back on, you must enter your SIM PIN. If you cannot enter your SIM PIN, the SIM card will be useless. And I'm telling you, once they cannot have access to your SIM card, your money will be safely in the bank. They cannot have access to. There was a time I lost my phone, and it took me about 2 weeks to go to MTN office to retrieve my SIM card. Why did I wait 2 weeks? Because I knew I had a SIM PIN. I knew they would not have access to my bank account. I knew they cannot even use my SIM card for anything. Some of these people, when they steal phone, we'll be hoping that, we'll track the phone. Some of them don't even sell the phone. They will just condemn the phone and just get the SIM card to see if they can have your money. Please, they say a word is enough for the wise. It is very, very important. Don't see this video and just pass it by. Watch this video to the end. We're almost approaching the end of the video. Ensure that you take the lesson. Please password your SIM card. They say a stitch in time save nine. It's very, very important. Make haste when the sun shines. Not be to come. You don't have to start running and start saying, oh, what do I do? What do I do? When you can prevent it. Let's not forget, prevention, they say, is better than cure. Thank you.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Every year, millions of lives are stolen, dreams cut short, futures traded in silence. Human trafficking is a modern-day slavery. It hides in plain sight, tearing families apart and trapping the vulnerable in fear. But together we can end it. Together we can protect, we can rescue, and we can give hope. Say no to exploitation. Say no to slavery. Say no to human trafficking. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
Behind closed doors, too many suffer in silence. Too many lives are scarred by violence in the very place that should bring peace, the home. Domestic violence is not love. It is pain. It breaks trust, destroys lives and families, and steals futures. Domestic violence is not a private matter. It's a violation of dignity, and it must end. Because hitting a woman does not make you a man, but correcting her in love and staying in peace with her is God's plan. Together, we can raise our voices, protect the vulnerable, and rebuild lives. Say no to silence. Say no to fear. Say no to domestic violence. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round. No, you feel like dying, but I see it in you. We're gonna walk it out and move mountains. We're gonna walk it out and move. And our eyes up, rise like the day. Our eyes up, rise unafraid, rise up. And I do it 1,000 times again. And you rise up, high like the day. You rise up, in spite of the ache. You rise up, and you do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise you, take the world to his feet. when the world seems like it's crashing down, believe that you'll take it to its feet. Move mountains, you bring it to its feet. Move, and our eyes up, rise like the day. Our eyes up, in spite of the ache, we will rise and do it 1,000 times for you. And for that we have each other. And for that we have each other. Yes, we will rise. We will rise. We will rise. Hey, and bring the world to its feet. Yeah, I'll rise up. I like the day you're rising, in spite of the ache. You're gonna rise in everything that you do. Believe it in your heart. Believe it in your heart. You rise up. You rise up. You're gonna rise up and do it 1,000 times again. Nobody's gonna stop you, yeah. Nobody will ever stop you, no, no, no. 'Cause you're rising, you're making the world a better place, yeah. Ooh. Oh. Wherever you are, put your hand on your chest and say, I will rise up. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Your future is in your hand as a student, not in the hands of your parents, teacher, or anybody. Do not allow anybody to tell you that education is a scam. The future of
Good day and welcome to our daily news roundup on Atlantic TV. I am Michael Gobadia. Here are our top stories. Umahi says Tinubu concrete roads will last a century. Oborowori charges APC members on digital registration drive. Nigerian foreign reserve hit 5-year high according to the CBN. And Judge freezes Trump 10,000 shutdown layoffs. And on sport, Cristiano Ronaldo closing in on 1,000 career goals. Now to the news in full. The Minister of Works Senator Dave Umahi says President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is determined to end Nigerian cycle of failed roads by adopting concrete pavement technology that could last up to 100 years. Speaking with journalists in Abeokuta, the minister expressed satisfaction with the quality of work and the project, describing them as models for Nigerian new road standard. He recalled that concrete roads built in his home state in the 1950s still stands firm today, unlike most asphalt roads that fail within decades. Umahi also condemned Nigerians who dump refuge on highway, saying the act reflects a lack of patriotism and damages national infrastructure. He reaffirmed that under President Tinubu, the Ministry of Work is focused on building roads that would outlive generation. Umahi made these known while inspecting the ongoing reconstruction of the Shagamu-Ijebu-Ode Benin Expressway and the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway section from Shagamu interchange to Ojo-Ibadan. He said the new approach marks a shift from asphalt to concrete to ensure long-term durability and value for taxpayers. From Shagamu, Ogun State, the federal government says the era of short-lived asphalt road is over as Nigeria drives into a new age of concrete-built highway designed to stand the test of time. Nigeria has emerged as sub-Saharan African leading nation in higher education ranking, with 24 universities making the 2026 Times Higher Education World University Ranking. The Times Higher Education Sub-Saharan African Insight 2026 report, released Thursday on THE's website, shows a record of 55 universities from 14 countries now ranked globally, up from just 10 less than a decade ago, while South Africa still leads in performance with 4 universities among the world top 500. Nigeria made the major strides with the University of Ibadan and the University of Lagos entering the global top 1,000 for the very first time. Ghana University of Cape Coast and Uganda's Makerere University also appeared in the same range, reflecting steady progress across the region. Other notable mentions include Ghana 4-ranked institution, Botswana 2, and the debut of Senegal's University, Kirk Anto Dakar, signaling a breakthrough for Francophone Africa. This places Nigerians ahead of South Africa, which has 13 universities on the list, making a new milestone in the country's academic growth and visibility on the global stage. With 24 institutions now globally recognized, education experts says Nigerian growing representation highlights renewed investment and competitiveness in tertiary education across the continent. Governor Sheriff Oboriwori of Delta State will commission the Niger Delta Development Commission Model State Office Complex in Warri. The new edifice, described as a major boost to NDDC's operation in Delta State, is expected to enhance service delivery and accelerate development across Niger Delta communities. The project marks a key milestone and the state drive to strengthen infrastructure and promote sustainability growth in the region. Let's get some visuals about that very report. Still in Delta, the All Progressive Congress APC has intensified the national digital membership registration drive with a call for commitment and unity from party members in the South-South zone. Delta State Governor, Right Honorable Sheriff Oboriwori, gave the charge at the APC Train the Trainer workshop on e-registration for the South-South, held at the Unity Hall Government House in Asaba. Government House correspondent Miriam Nwuke reports that the governor described the digital registration as a milestone reform aimed at modernizing the party structure for greater accountability and also inclusion. Governor Sharif also explained that the exercise will validate existing records by linking members' data with their national identification number while expanding the register to accommodate new members. They are sure that the All Progressives Congress remains the most formidable political force in the South-South and urge delegates from Edo, Bayelsa, Rivers, Cross River, and Akwa Ibom to take the training seriously and replicate its effectiveness in their respective states. The South-South Deputy National Chairman of the APC, Chief Ima Nwokwe, commended Governor Sherif's leadership, describing his achievement as a model of visionary governance. He conveyed the goodwill of the party's national chairman, Professor Natewa Yawata, who applauded Delta's pace-setting approach to digital membership rollout. The event drew top APC leaders, zonal coordinators, and stakeholders from across the South who pledged to replicate the training and ensure smooth implementation of digital membership registration in their states. The crisis rocking the Labour Party has taken a new twist as the Interim National Committee, INC, has accused suspected loyalists of the ruling All Progressives Congress of infiltrating and hijacking a structure. The memo dated October 9th and titled Pre-Registration Memo was addressed to the Labour Party National Executive Council and Board of Trustees. Akeni lamented that over a year after the INC was inaugurated in Umahi with a 90-day mandate, no progress had been made in conducting ward, local government, or state congresses. He said he had been forced to relocate from Edo State to Abuja to perform his duties without financial support, receiving only 10,000 naira tokens since August. The party official described the situation as disturbing and warned that the credibility of the Labour Party was on the line ahead of the 2027 general elections. Party insiders told reporters that the letter had deepened internal divisions, with some members calling for the immediate reconstitution of the interim working committee. Interim National Publicity Secretary Tony Akeni, in a leaked memo, claimed that the APC mold within the party influenced key decisions, including the refusal to fund the publicity directorate, a situation he said has crippled communication and delayed party's long-term overdue congresses and national convention. With less than 2 years to the 2027 polls, the Labour Party's internal waggling continues to raise questions about its readiness to challenge the ruling APC at the national level. Away from that, the Independent National Electoral Commission has come under fire after demanding over 1.5 billion naira from a law firm seeking copies of Nigerian National Voter Registrar and polling units under the Freedom of Information Act. The principal counsel, Vincent Otapuku, confirmed receiving the letter describing the fee as outrageous and legally wrong. In a correspondence signed by INEC Secretary Rose Ororan Anthony, the Commission said that the payment must be made via remitter before releasing the certified copies. The lawyer had requested the documents on October 8th under the Freedom of Information Act, seeking transparency under the National Voter Registration and Polling Unit across Nigeria's 774 local government areas. When consulted by the cable, INEC did not deny the letter's authenticity, saying only that a statement will be issued soon. The Commission in the letter dated October 13 approved the request by VC Otakuto and Associates, but directed that the firm to pay 1.5 billion naira as cost of production before processing. The development has sparked debate over access to public information, transparency, election data management, and whether such a fee undermining citizens' right to information guaranteed by law. Let's go on the break now, but when we come back, we'll still have more news across Nigeria, as well as foreign business and sport news. Join us again.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Welcome back. Now the rest of the news. The Central Bank of Nigeria says the country's foreign reserve has surged to a 5-year high of $3.4 billion United States dollar, despite recent effort to clear foreign exchange backlogs. Abdullahi told participants that as of October 10th, Nigerian reserve could now cover 11 months of import, signaling renewed investors' confidence and macroeconomic stability. He also noted that the exchange rate gap between the official and parallel market has narrowed to less than 3%, down from over 50% in 2022. The CBN says the steady rise in reserve reflects reforms under the current administration aimed at boosting liquidity, improving transparency, and strengthening the naira. CBN Deputy Governor for Economic Policy Mohammed Abdullahi disclosed these in the Nigeria Investors Forum in Washington, D.C., held on the sideline of the IMF World Bank annual meeting. With reserve now at their strongest level since 2019, the central bank maintains that Nigeria's economy is on a path towards sustained recovery and investor confidence. Still talking business, oil-producing host communities in the Niger Delta has pledged to safeguard the 3% Host Community Development Fund under the Petroleum Industry Act, accusing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that the fund, or rather assuring President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that the fund will be managed transparently and used strictly for development purposes. In a statement issued on Monday, the group commended President Tinubu for sustaining, or rather, his commitment to oil-producing areas, adding that the CDC is partnering with the EFCC and the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission to track disbursement and ensure funds are used only for contractual obligations. Amaboko Kereme disclosed or revealed that community needs assessment have been completed, paving the way for the commencement of over 500 projects across the region. He urged members of the host community to take ownership of their development and resist political influence. Meanwhile, the NUPRC confirmed that the Host Community Development Trust Fund has grown to over 373 billion naira, with contributions from oil firms and over 536 ongoing projects nationwide. The chairman of the Community Development Committee of Niger Delta Oil and Gas Producing Area, Joseph Darimo, said merchants are already in place, or machineries are already in place to ensure accountability and prevent misuse. He also warned against any attempt by state government to hijack control of the fund. The HostCom Fund, established under Section 235 of the Petroleum Industry Act, is designed to foster peace, build infrastructure, and drive sustainable growth in Nigerian oil-bearing communities. To the foreign scene, in the United States, a federal judge has temporarily blocked President Donald Trump's plan to lay off more than 10,000 federal workers amid ongoing government shutdown. District Judge Susan Liston issued a restraining order in San Francisco after a union filed suit calling the mass termination unlawful and unprecedented. Court documents revealed that more than 4,000 federal workers had already been dismissed last week, mostly from the Treasury, Education, and Housing departments. The judge cited concern for workers, including pregnant employees, who fear losing health coverage, noting that many could not even access their termination notice due to shutdown. Trump budget chief Ross Vought confirmed that more layoffs were planned, saying the administration aimed to be aggressive in shuttling the bureaucracy. Meanwhile, the Senate failed for the ninth time to pass a Republican-led funding bill, deepening the crisis that paralyzed Washington and left thousands in financial uncertainty. The ruling comes as the shutdown enters its third week, with Congress still deadlocked over spending, leaving 1.4 million employees either unpaid or on forced leave. For now, the layoffs are on hold, but with political gridlock showing no sign of easing, American federal workforce remains caught in the crossfire of a shutdown with no clear end in sight. Still on the foreign scene, Iran has officially approved plans to slash 4 zeros from its national currency, the rial, and a bid to rein in runaway inflation that have battered the economy for years. Under the new plan, the Central Bank of Iran will oversee a 5-year transition, 2 years for preparation and 3 years for implementation. During that period, both the old rial and the new introduced Toma will circulate simultaneously. Lawmakers voted 144 in favor and 108 against, with 3 essential, a reflection of deep division within the government. Analysts say the reform aimed to restore public confidence after years of currency free fall and inflation that has seen the real lost more than 90% of its value since 2018. But critics insist the redenomination won't curb inflation as long as sanctions remain in place and oil revenue still limited. The move, endorsed by Parliament last week, comes amid creeping U.S. and EU sanctions and renewed tension following Israeli and American strike on the Iran nuclear facility. Economists, however, warn the decision is likely symbolic and won't address the root causes of Iran's economic troubles. For millions of Iranis, the currency overhaul may offer psychological relief, but with sanctions tightening and prices still rising, the real value of their money remains painfully low. Talking sports, Portugal and Al Nassr superstar Cristiano Ronaldo is closing in on an unprecedented milestone with a 1,000-goal career. Ronaldo, already football all-time top scorer and World Cup qualifier, continued to defer age and expectations now in his fourth season with the Saudi side. He has netted 104 goals in 117 appearances, maintaining an extraordinary consistency that had defined his career. The five-time Ballon d'Or winner has averaged more than 50 goals per year since 2010, peaking at 69 in 2013. Analysts projected that his current rate, Ronaldo could hit the 1,000 goal mark by October 2026, just months before the next FIFA World Cup. The 40-year-old forward hit a brace against Hungary in a World Cup qualifier, taking his total tally to 948 goals, 805 at club level and 143 for Portugal. According to reports from Lisbon to Madrid, Manchester, Turin and Riyadh, Cristiano Ronaldo's remarkable goal-scoring journey shows no sign of slowing down. Still talking sport, Argentina are through to the final of the 2025 FIFA Under-20 World Cup after a hard-fight 1-0 victory over Colombia in Santiago. It was a tense affair at the Estadio Nacional de Santiago when Cristiano did the damage with a dazzling run on the right before setting in Silviti to slot home the winner. Colombia hope faded after a late red card as Argentina held on to seal the win. Meanwhile, in Valparaiso, Morocco Atlas Club made history, defeating France 6-5 on penalties after a dramatic 1-1 draw. They now become the only third African nation after Ghana and Nigeria to reach the Under-20 World Cup final. France and Colombia will battle for the third place on Saturday before the grand finale on Monday, October the 20th. Matteo Civelti's 74th minute strike made the difference as the Albicelestes booked a second eight final appearance, setting up a mouth-watering showdown with Morocco, who stunned France on penalties to reach their first ever final. So it's Argentina vs Morocco, a clash of pedigree and history, youth and passion as the 2025 Under-20 World Cup wraps up in San Diego. And that very news also wrap up the very news on Atlantic TV. We'll always employ you. Remember to drop on our social media platform. I will be more than happy to take them. I remain Michael Gobadia. Bye for now.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
It is back, it is bigger, and it's better. The Future of the Worry Child second edition is here. It's a one-day career seminar designed to inspire and equip senior secondary school students for greatness. Seeing beyond limits, unlocking the potential of the worry child. Date is 24th day of October 2025. Time 9 a.m. Venue, the Brown Hill Colosseum, Warri in Delta State. Powered by Coral Care Foundation. For more inquiries, please call 08034659576 or 07031946811. The future is bright.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
My name is Des. They call me the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
All right, guys, back again. Yes, boss. My name is Osh, baby.
CME Alade.
Yeah, what up, people? It's your boy Victor 80.
Girl Niniola.
My name is my wife and just celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV. Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV, we wanna party.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
I am SP Dafebright and this is Delta State Police Command. Today we'll be treating and addressing an issue that's different from what we've been doing before. Not parading suspect this time, but bringing to you a very important information. Do we know that over 85% of Nigerians do password their phones, whether it's Android phones or iPhones? There's always a password. But how come when we lose our phones, by the time we go to retrieve our lines,
Welcome back. If you are just joining, it's Trending O'Clock, and you know how we do it right here on Trending. We talk about all the trending gist on the internet, and of course, give our opinions about them. I am Mercy Irabo, and you know, once it's trending, I can never be alone in the studio. Joining us today to talk about all the trending gist is Mr. Michael Gubadia. Mr. Michael, thanks for making time for us today.
Well, anyway, I'm just really interested and itching to see what will be on trending.
See what will be on trending. Okay, so let's not waste much time. Let's just dive straight into it. So yesterday we talked about the iPhone XR versus iPhone 17 Pro Max and all the issues it's been causing on the internet. Yes, because you remember we saw iPhone XR being refurbished into the almighty 17 Pro Max, and this has caused issues between Very Dark Man and Billard. You can see Billard is selling the same phone for 450,000 naira, while Very Dark Man is selling the same phone for 280,000 naira. And this has led to a whole lot of issues. If you were here yesterday, you definitely know what we are talking about. And then we've been getting a lot of reactions in as much as we have more updates. But let's see some of the reactions first. Okay, somebody just innocently posted iPhone 17 Pro Max fully paid. And the response he got is, Oga na iPhone XR, you swap your kidney for, no be iPhone 17. Nigerians, netizens, can we do better? But una slow, the converted iPhone doesn't have a dynamic island features, but the 17 does. Is that not enough? I mean, why would they do like this now? My brother, nobody wants to check the inside. Once they see you holding that, they just feel it's iPhone 17 Pro Max. I still don't believe VDM. Bring the XR to Nigeria. Let's check it with our water. Okay, a Chinese water might be different. Assuming this XR to iPhone 17 gets dynamic island, if I see them for on a hand, I don't want to know the kind English you want use explain. Bro, now XR you they use. Interesting. After getting phone worth 3 million naira. About people watching right now, you guys are underrating us. Just hold on. Abba, please, we don't need the upper version of iPhone 17 Pro Max. You fit they use iPhone 11, 12, or 13, make you the envy person when they use iPhone XR, disguised in sheep clothing. Don't believe anything you see on the media or people, because upgraded iPhone XR to 17 is the hottest take in town now. Billboard and VDM don't confirm. Mr. Michael, I don't know if you've been following this
Well,
trend.
I've been following this trend, and you know, this is more like business gone wrong. For me, that's what I'll call it, business gone wrong. And everybody will put every blame on the level of anger, especially being expressed by those persons. You know, irrespective of whether that phone is the correct version or not, it should not degenerate to names calling, noodles being put on air, all of that. And now we're having somebody's Instagram
taking down
3 million followers. Come on, the loss is so massive on account of we do understand. But you know what I'm saying is that's why sometimes you trade with caution, irrespective of how really angry you seem to be. It's always right to trade with caution, fall back, because sometimes you might just use a sledgehammer to kill a mosquito on the front at the top of your head, and at the end you'll be at the losing end. But you know, Nigerians are so immersed in this whole drama, not because of whether the phones are authentic or not, but because of the drama it brings. And honestly, the unfolding drama seems to have no end. But what I feel it is, irrespective of whether it is that expensive, 380 or 280 or 450, please, Nigerians should take things easy. And it's not the kind of phone you carry that determines you, but rather what seems to be in your heart.
But one thing I've been thinking about this whole issue is because Nigerian youth, I think they have more of self-esteem issues.
Yes.
They feel they need to, people need to feel
Seal
less
them,
to make them feel better.
Yes.
Because why would I know that this is iPhone XR, but I'll have to buy it more expensive just because it comes in the package of iPhone 17 Pro Max?
Who cares? Who will ask you? You
don't know.
That's where we talk about self-esteem as a problem to many. You know, the phone you carry, like I said, doesn't determine you. The person you are determines your character. You'll be more surprised that the phone no other person Bill Gates carries. You'll be amazed when you see that phone. It just is a gadget for communication, is a gadget for reaching out to people, and that's how he sees it. But that doesn't stop him from being who he is and the money he has. Look at the phone Dangote carries. So, but you know, this self-esteem issue has always been a major plague in our youth's life. And honestly, the drama that is unfolding is a clear reflection of what seems to be happening.
Well, interesting story. I hope this whole thing will just come to an end anytime soon, because we're getting tired of it. Yes, we are, because this whole thing has caused more chaos, including Nkechi Blessing that always want to trend, finding herself caught up in the midst of all of this. I don't know how come, but somehow, you know, she just wanted to show off, coming online to tell you that iPhone 17 Pro Max, once she dips it into water, nothing will happen. Meanwhile, you can actually dip XR into water and nothing will happen. And then she got caught up. Like, you don't need to come out to explain to us that you are using iPhone 17 Pro Max. We don't need all of those explanations. You know what you got, then keep it to yourself. Well, in as much as I would love to dwell on that, but our time is really not on our side. So let's see what we have as the second story. Yeah, educational consultant Alex Onya has shared a disturbing photo of the male hostel of the UNN, that is the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and honestly, it's not a pretty sight at all. The picture shows what looks like crumbling walls, leaking ceilings, and dirty surroundings, conditions no student should have to live in. Alex didn't hold back. He described it as a shameful reflection of our educational system and called on the government to fix the rots in our universities. And to think that this is one of Nigeria's most respected
and recognized, reverend university.
You don't feel that was last week, right? That we talked about the poor conditions of our, hostels and all of that, and they're increasing the fee daily. What then are you using the money for, if not to fix the hostels?
Honestly, looking at that picture, it looks as if that hostel is in a jungle, because look at the surrounding. The vegetation. We talked about deforestation today on Dialogue. I feel that's a clear example of a tourist site in the big Okija shrine. That's really disturbing. And the sorry state of that very hostel is a pure reflection of the sorry state of our tertiary institutions. How
yeah.
far they've come to be sorry, or give someone a sore eye when anytime you look at that. You know, how would you definitely get the best from students when they live in that kind of environment? The Nigerian correctional facilities seem to even look better than that. And you are there breeding young men. Why would these persons under such environment not grow up to want to steal, to want to get too many, to help them deal, apologize to themselves from the past of pain they went through?
To make themselves feel better. Like,
it's
I
quite disheartening, and something that the government should look into. I know the ASU, I was talking about the academic staff of Nigerian University, is also looking at this as a point of their revitalization demands, and I don't feel the government needs to put more. As much as you're taking more from the students, please also ensure that that money is being put back into rehabilitation of these facilities and ensuring that they have the right environment to study.
Like, I can't just even imagine students in that condition. You can't even sleep with your eyes closed.
Yeah, because one day you might wake up and see lions in front of your door telling you it's time to go to class.
And see scorpions and all of that. It's not, apart from, let's just keep the jokes aside, it's a very serious issue that the federal government really needs to intervene. This is getting out of, and this is just one of, we have seen a whole lot when it comes to school hostels. I don't know if it's abandoned projects or they just decide to neglect them. I don't know why it's always looking like that, but the federal government really needs to do something about that. So away from the UNN hostel, yes, I heard this shocking story in Jakpa here in Delta State, where a receptionist allegedly stole 650,000 naira from a couple. So report says the young lady named Ada Obi Mabel Okafor, who worked at Manex Place Event Center, has gone missing after reportedly defrauding a couple of 650,000 naira. According to sources, the couple had visited the center to book a hall for their wedding. Ada Obi attended to them, showed them around, and offered 2 account numbers, one for the company and another she claims belonged to the owner of the place. Like you can see, it has Emmanuel Origose and then Manex Place. You would just think, oh, Emmanuel should be the CEO. So trusting her, the couple paid 650,000 into the second account, but when they returned to collect their receipts, the management dropped a bombshell. The money didn't go into the official account, and Ada Obi was nowhere to be found. To make what matters worse, 2 other victims have also come forward with similar stories involving the same receptionist. This one happened here in Delta State. Like, one thing I'm still trying to get, the couple now had to go elsewhere for their wedding, and the company could not do anything. But is it that the company can't really fetch that girl out?
Well, you know, this is why anytime you make, rather you put anybody into your business, but you should be careful the characters this person possesses.
Yeah.
You know, in all honesty, if the couples were to sue, they have every right to sue that very event center.
Yeah.
Because they came there and they made payment, and it was certain that very person was under their employment.
Yes.
So anything that concerns whether it went to a separate account or not, they do not know, and they would not be held liable on account of that. I feel what the company needs to do is to see how they can help in every way, either to accommodate the couples to go ahead with their wedding if they've not done the wedding, and find other channels of tracking down Ada Obi or Omila Obi and see how they can get that money back and ensure that it's being returned back to the couple.
Yes, they can, because I know, I don't know about Manex Place, but for most companies and organizations, before you get employed, you should be able to submit. Some persons need to stand for you, some sureties, some guarantors, and all of that. So, and with that, they should be able to reach out to this very girl.
Not let the couples go through the stress.
Because couples that are just trying to start up their whole life and then having to go through all of this, it's not really funny.
They might feel it's a bad omen to the marriage itself. Please don't let them have that feeling.
I don't know if it's a sign from God. Anyway, so I hope something is done. So this is also a developing story, and once we get more updates, we'll definitely bring them to you. So away from that, there's this a story that looks like a misery movie. A custom officer in Castina has reportedly been found dead in his hotel room after checking in with 3 women. But here's where it gets strange. Only the 3 women checked out. The officer did not. Investigations are ongoing, but social media is already buzzing with all kind of theories, from spiritual attacks to too much energy in one night. 3 ladies, 1 man. That is not a hotel booking. That is a very dangerous mission, Mr. Michael.
Well, anyway, many will say he died in active service, but that service is not for Nigerians. That service, he died on his own, serving his own selfish reason. You know, you are a man, and you do know the life expectancy of men has fallen to 54%. Whether you eat well or not, having to do that 3 hours or 3 women in one role, come on. I don't know, at least now you know it's not going to end here. He has ended in the other side. But the problem is what will become of his wife and children. And the shame that daddy died in active service. How will the children, come on. It's really disheartening.
So I've been thinking, what if it's not really what everybody's thinking? What if he was murdered? What if he was killed there?
Well, the autopsy will show.
Anyways.
But I thought they said they saw a smile on his face. But I don't know. That's what the rumor is. So
anyways, authorities are looking into what really happened, and hopefully we'll get some answers soon. So until then, if you must go on a triple date, please make sure you check out Alive. Anyways, away from that, love is in the air. I don't know if I'm the only one smelling this. So this time around, it's celebrity stylist Swanky Jerry and actress Annie Macaulay, ex-wife of Two-Face Idibia. Yes. So we've seen these 2 melting hearts online after sharing a sweet moment together, declaring their love with the caption, "Together forever." Oh, sounds like friendship goals.
I have heard that before.
Or maybe something more. Of course, social media had a lot to say. You can see this thing looks, I don't know if I'm the one overthinking this, but anyways, before I go further, and I know Mr. Michael has a lot, but let's see what netizens are saying. This Annie, they fear today single. Okay, not me asking though. Bro to bro, pray to never eat leftover in your life. Talk less of packing it food to your home. This isn't about food. Deep. He said it isn't about food. Annie Idibia 1. Seems Two-Face can't be erased in her. I don't know. Somebody's moving on. Why are you like this? This is giving the vibe of, let me pepper my ex and show him I can move on without him. Of course you can do without him, but going into a relationship when you have not healed is a bad idea. You don't have to go this far to prove a point. Heal first. Okay, so the woman needs to heal and the man does not need to heal. I laugh in Sarah. Interesting. So that's what I'm still asking. So only women need to heal. They are just besties, nothing more. So I thought, bestie friendship goals. Congratulations to Annie. Everything for this online are fake. Oh, somebody's saying it's fake. I can see my mouth cannot talk. Me too, what I am saying, my mouth cannot talk. You can't be too sure. All they should pray for is that their love should go as expected, but it comes to divorced couples, the case might be different. She said, don't find peace of mind, sharp, sharp. No time, my sister. Could someone send me her ex-Andrew to help this damsel? She would definitely regret this reckless behavior. Women nowadays need to have their oblongata examined. Oh, you don't jump into a relationship after a heartbreak. Forgive first, heal, reflect, take your time before diving into another episode that may not last. Interesting comments today. Annie Seth, no get shame. They are best of friends. This is love. I saw this comment. A lot of questions on my mind. A lot of questions on my mind too. So, Mr. Michael, I am seeing this to be a harmless friendship. I don't know what you're thinking, though.
Well, my thoughts are with me. But just like somebody said, I laugh in Sarah. But what I would say is, she's coming out after a very strong heartbreak.
Yeah.
She did not end the marriage Two-Face did.
Yeah.
She even had we learned that she even reached out to see how they can mend fences, and Two-Face definitely put a halt to it.
Yeah.
So mine is, well, if you feel you've healed, you've reflected on your past, you've forgiven, well, there's every right, you have every right to be happy. Go and be happy. But if you have not healed, you've not reflected on the past, you've not dealt with some of the issues, all of these will not last, because you'll be bringing the old garbage into the new relationship. You might be bringing the old pain to deal with this young bobo, and it will not end up well. So mind, if you've healed and you feel you are ready to go, come on, you have a life, be happy and continue with your life.
For the first time, Mr. Michael is trying not to argue with me.
No. But if she has not healed, if she has not healed, it will be a mistake and a disaster at the end.
Yeah. Because so many persons have been saying, Annie, move on. Move on. Two-Face has moved on. You should move on too. And now she's trying to move on. And the internet is shaking. And I get to wonder, what exactly do we want? She's moving on, be it friendship or whatsoever. It might be something to just help her heal. I don't know. As long as she finds space, I am happy for her. Congratulations, Annie Macaulay. Anyway, so it's a wrap on trending, and you know Friday's edition is always my favorite. Yes, I enjoyed every bit of it, and I know you enjoyed every bit of it. And of course, you know, you can drop your comments on the comment section of all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV. Let's see how Mr. Michael was spending his weekend.
Well, I'll be doing a lot of research.
Okay.
Talking about interesting topics to bring to your table, and your enjoyment come next week. And you do know the weekend is full of a whole lot of stories, and so we'll definitely having very many news tales to bring to your notice come next week, and a whole lot of new discussions and guests to follow. But for me, Michael Gobadi, I'll just say you have a blessed weekend and keep safe, so we can see next week.
I'm surprised that we're doing the same thing. I'll also be researching to get new juicy gist for you next week. Well, this is me saying I am Mercy Irabo. See you next week. Do have a great weekend. Bye.